What is going on, guys? Lottery Stocks here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel if you're new. Now, I do not do this usually, but over 60% of you guys are not subscribing to the channel, but you keep coming back to my videos. So please, all I ask you guys to do is just hit that button. It's free, and also hit the like button. Let's get into the video. Yesterday, I put up a video, and please tell me you guys took advantage of this video because we called out two stocks. One ran over 300% and one ran over 45% today. If you don't have post notifications on, you probably missed that unless you are in the Discord, which will be linked in the description down below. Now, the SPY is currently trading at 398.53, up a 0.5% on the day, fighting for its life at this $400 level. It came up to it and got rejected. It filled this gap right around 397.34, and the SPY is in a decision zone. If the SPY sells off more and breaks below 395, I'm watching that 390 level for a bounce off of the descending resistance that we were in all of 2022. If we don't get a bounce there, the SPY is heading for new lows. It's as simple as that, and that's the way I see it. Best case scenario, SPY breaks over 400 and breaks over 404 without getting a major rejection, and then the SPY will continuously run from there. Now, I recently just took a position and I announced it in Discord, so if you do want to know my positions right away, make sure to be in Discord. I took more calls on GameStop. I finally added into calls on GameStop. I have calls on AMC as well, but this is looking picture perfect to the old cycle that we have tracking out on GameStop. It traded in this parallel channel and it broke just below, and I'm looking at this area right here on GameStop, right at this $19 level for a potential move higher, breaking the recent highs at $22.40 for GameStop. This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor, but I purchased more GameStop calls, definitely giving myself a decent amount of time. Overall, for a lot of invalidations, GameStop would have to break under $19, and then I'd be watching about $17 even, and then the recent lows on the stock right around $15.40. As for AMC, guys, I cannot stress this enough. Volume is AMC's friend. We're currently trading 23 million in volume right now as I make this video, up 6.13%, trading at $6.58 right now, fighting this most recent high right here. Hopefully we do not get a double top there, but AMC needs volume to pick up. The run back here is playing through the same cycle, but the volume picked up absurd. It went from 89 million, 53 million, and jumped to 113, 213, 319, 700 million, and then eventually hit over 1 billion in volume. Right now, we need AMC's volume to double going into earnings, which it definitely could. The lineup is perfect. We have earnings coming out tomorrow, which is going to cause a lot of volatility in the stock, and that is something that we need going forward. If I bring the cycles in right here, the chart does look messy, but we are at that time period where AMC is getting that second push up. If you take a look back in the cycles, it all enters the cycles the same exact way. However, coming back here to when it was halted, you see it pushed up a second time, and then this is where they lost control, and AMC got a big move in volume, bringing us all the way up over $20.80, and we're seeing that second push right now, but we really need that volume to kick in. But overall, AMC up 6%, solid day. Taking a look at APE real quick, ticker symbol APE. APE is coming down to $1.93 in my opinion to fill this gap. From there, we should see a bounce. We have a gap fill up top at about $2.66, and again, remember, come the meeting, they are trying to pause that conversion for APE. They do not want it to go through. That lawsuit that was filed against AMC and the board members do not want that conversion to go through. Right now, APE, $1.93. That's a spot I'm watching for a bounce or somewhere in that area. Touching on some Ortex numbers, AMC has 23.55% short interest on the free float. Utilization is still maxed out, of course, and the cost to borrow sitting over 300%, which is exactly where we want to see it. The average being 312, the max being 348, and the minimum being 7.6. Now, this is very important because sure, one short seller can be paying the minimum. However, this can drag the average down by a lot and make us think that they are not paying a higher average, when majority of them could be paying more than that 312%, but the minimum is pulling it down. As for APE, 5.99% short interest, utilization 83%. So apparently the short interest drop a little bit, but I think that will adjust over the next couple of days. Cost to borrow sitting right around 8% for an average and 12% for a max. According to Stock Tracker, there's 150,000 shares available to borrow at a most recent fee of 224% on AMC. We are winning on the options chain, 32,000 calls compared to 15,000 puts expiring in the money, and the options chain is just about evened out this week coming into earnings. A lot of people do not know what to expect, but we are really paying attention to that options chain expiring March 17th, which is after that meeting date. This is something very important to pay attention to, as there is over millions of contracts being bet for that day's expiration. The source short percentage is high, 61.7% and 288,000 short exempt volume. We are going to be talking about that in a minute. But as for GameStop, 700,000 shares available to borrow at a most recent fee of 11.9%. The fee is not looking good. We're getting slaughtered on the options chain. No calls compared to 5,000 puts expiring in the money. And the short exempt is high, as well as the short percent is higher than I think I've ever seen it on Stock Tracker for GameStop, 70.1%. They are flooding the dark pools. They're flooding the dark markets with shares. The liquidity fairies are stumping everything with the short exempt volume right now on GameStop. They are just pinning this thing down. And remember, the short percentage has to be higher because 60% of the free float is DRS, so they only have 40% to work with. Now, we saw Yahoo Finance posting that AMC is a trash stock, and here's why it's moving higher this year. You get it, short AMC massively beyond your liquidity in attempts to drive it bankrupt, and by a global media company to write endless narrative articles to manipulate the public perception of the stock's value, which is absolutely not legal. And somebody has been emailing SEC.gov and getting very blatant answers, even though they're just basic questions that he's asking them. Touching on that, the DTCC, as the keeper of the system where it happens, has been turning a blind eye to the problem of naked short selling and essentially just shorting companies into the ground, so blame the DTCC. Now this is where it gets juicy. Citigroup Ltd 2021 65.9 billion sold, not yet purchased. Citadel Securities in 2021 65.7 billion sold, not yet purchased. Susquehanna 78.9 billion sold, not yet purchased, which is a total of 210.59 billion worth of stock that have been sold but never purchased. That's only 3 Wall Street hedge funds. Sold not yet purchased is basically just short selling. Now think about adding theoretically 210 billion to AMC's market cap at whatever price you would be selling at. They want us to crumble. They want us to capitulate. They want us to sell our shares. And remember, the SEC delays parts of market surveillance initiative until 2024. They really want us to crack, especially with all of this inflation. Their big plan is not going to work. Guys, this is huge. This is only 3 brought to your attention, and this is a great find, so shout out Gavin on Twitter, but imagine how much more is out there. Moving on, Virgin Islands AG fired days after filing suit alleging JP Morgan Jeffrey Epstein ties. The government responds, right after he gets fired. Speaking of that, TD Bank to pay 1.205 billion to resolve lawsuit tied to Ponzi scheme. And the Bank of England says a digital pound, aka CBDC, presents a big opportunity. Coinbase is suspending Binance USD stablecoin, and Bank of America CEO says to prepare for a US default and a recession going forward. Now, Canada has banned TikTok on all federal government devices. We're seeing this across the board as China owns TikTok, and it gives them a lot of access to cell phones, being able to spy, other things like that. And we know that war is starting to heat up, but you know, we have been doing surprise visits to Ukraine over the past few weeks very commonly. China lithium probe shuts down a 10th of global supply. Beijing sends environmental officials to production hub, and battery metals price have been falling on oversupply fears. Finally, lab leak most likely origin of COVID-19 pandemic, Energy Department now says. Great, guys, the US government is basically saying, okay, you know, this virus came from eating a bat. Whatever, it came from eating a bat. I think we all knew from day one that this was a lab-grown virus that, you know, got out, maybe intentionally, maybe not intentionally, but as they're saying right now, okay, it was basically created in a lab. The bat story was not legitimate, and who knows, 2 years down the line, they're gonna say, yeah, it was intentionally released from a lab, you know, it wasn't an accident, it was population control, it was this, it was that, and honestly, I'm really not surprised by this. Plus, it was posted by the Wall Street Journal, so it's not a fake source. I've been seeing this around everywhere. You guys let me know in the comments what you think about this down below, and let me know if you've entered either of those plays that we called out yesterday on the channel. Plus, if you're part of that 60% that is not subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Why are you coming back to my videos and not subscribing? Also, guys, gaining a lot of free money. People who are signing up for Moomoo using my link and making a deposit are getting a ton of free stocks for doing absolutely nothing, so I will leave that link in the comments or the description down below. below. Download Moomoo on your phone or computer, open an account, it takes 2 minutes to do so, and once you make a deposit, you are going to start earning free stocks, all the way up to 17 free stocks, plus it's FDIC insured. You get free access to level 2 order book data. It's not like Webull and other platforms where you have to pay for it, plus you have access to trading options, going long, going short, no matter your risk status, viewing other exchanges, a customizable earnings calendar, and more. So guys, that link will be pinned in the description and in the comments down below. Also guys, pop in the Discord, don't wait, don't sleep on it. I love you all, Lottery Stocks out.